into the topic of metric conversions. What we did in the previous video was we converted an English unit, feet, into another English unit, inches, and then did an English metric conversion, converted English inches into metric centimeters. In this video, I want to teach you guys how we can convert from one metric unit of mass to another metric unit of mass, or one metric unit of volume to another metric unit. Let's start slow. So let's say, for example, you know that you are 166 centimeters tall, and you want to know what that is in meters. So you are 166 centimeters, and you want to convert it to meters. Okay? So there are several ways of doing this. You can write 166 centimeters, and then you find the conversion factor that will help you convert between meters and centimeters. Remember what I wrote earlier in the previous video? I said one of the definitions is that a meter is 100 centimeters. A meter is always 100 centimeters. So if centimeters is over here, what must be down here? You got to cancel out centimeters, so you got to put centimeters here, meters here. Remember, the whole point of using a conversion factor is to cancel out the given units and end up with the desired unit. So what numbers do we put here? 1 meter is 100 centimeters. We cancel out the centimeters, you plug it into your calculator, your final answer is 1.66 meters. Okay, this is 3 sig figs, 3 sig figs. This is a definition. This is an exact number. You're not going to look at this and say, oh, but Dr. Wabi, these 2 zeros are to the left of the decimal. They're not significant, so it's only 1 sig fig. No. Why not? Because this is an exact number. It has an infinite number of sig figs. Okay, so it's always the measured number that you go by, not all these definitions as conversion factors. All right, another way to set this up, you use the technique where you use exponents, not the 100, use exponents instead. So the rule is you give a 1 to the prefix. So this is centimeter, you give it a 1. And then the meaning of the prefix to the base unit. Remember, meters, grams, liters, those are all base units. So what does centi mean? Remember how I asked you guys to know the relationship between the prefix and the actual exponential value? So centi means 10 to the minus 2, so you put 10 to the minus 2 here. You give a 1, I'm going to write this down so you can have it in your notes. In metric conversion, you can give a 1 to the prefix and the meaning of the prefix to the base unit. Okay? That little trick will help you figure out more complicated ones. The 1 meter is 100 centimeters, perfectly fine to use. It's really easy to use. But when you get into more complicated things, it's kind of nice to know this little thing here. All right, so using this, we gave a 1 to the prefix. Why is this a prefix? Because centi, milli, deci, giga, nano, all of those are prefixes. So you give a 1 to the prefix and the meaning of centi to the base unit, which is 10 to the minus 2. 166 times 10 to the minus 2 is 1.66 meters. Okay, you can plug it into your calculator and you will find that. All right, so let's try another one. Let's say I've got 2.35 microliters and I want to convert them to liters. Okay, this is the base unit, this is a prefix. So you're going to write 2.35 microliters. I'm going to do the conversion factor. Okay, we want to get rid of microliters. So you put microliters down here and liters up here. According to this little rule, you give a 1 to the prefix. Which one is the prefix? The microliters is a prefix. I'm going to put a 1 here. What does micro mean? 10 to the minus 6. So you put that on the base unit. Microliters, Cancel. 2.35 times 10 to the minus 6. Your final answer is 2.35 times 10 to the minus 6 liters. Or you could just move the decimal 6 places to the left, and it would be 0.00001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 6 liters. This is the same number as this. This exponent, 10 to the minus 6, means move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 places. Okay, remember, negative exponents always mean that your number is less than 1. All right, so let's do a bit, one that goes from prefix to another prefix. What we've done so far is going from a prefix to a base unit. You can go from base unit to prefix also, or you can go from prefix to another prefix. But this rule only applies if you go to a base unit, either to the base unit or from the base unit. Let me just do one with base unit to prefix. So let's say you have 2.00 grams and you want to convert it to nanograms. All right, let's do that. This is base unit to prefix. So 2.00 grams. Remember the rule. If you're going to get rid of grams, you got to put grams down here. You put nanograms over here. Okay? Who gets the 1? Remember, according to this, the prefix gets the 1. Which one is the prefix? Nanograms or grams? Nano is a prefix, so you give a 1 here. What does nano mean? If you don't have it memorized yet, go look it up. Nano means 10 to the minus 9. So 10 to the minus 9. Okay, perfect setup. Now, what in the world do you do with an exponent in the denominator? You can bring it up to the numerator and change the sign. So if it's negative in the denominator, if you bring it up to the top, it becomes positive. If it's positive in the denominator, bring it up to the top, it becomes negative. It makes your life so much easier. You don't have to actually pick up a calculator for this. So let's just bring it up to the top, change the sign, it becomes positive 9. So our answer is 2.00 times 10 to the 9 nanograms. Okay? So I showed you how to go from a prefix to a base, and now I showed you how to go from a base to a prefix. Now let's go from prefix to another prefix. Okay? Let's do this. Let's say you've got 5.62 deciliters, and you want to convert it to nanoliters. Okay, so you're going from a prefix to another prefix. This rule only applies if you go to and from the base unit. Okay, so our strategy is to go deciliters to liters and then liters to nanoliters. Why liters? Because liters is the base unit of volume. Deciliters, nanoliters, those are volume. How do you know they're volume? Because you see the liter, the L there. Okay, if it was decigram, it would be mass. If it was decimeters, it would be length. This is volume. So the base unit of volume is liters. All right, so we start our method here. 5.62 deciliters. I want to first go to liters. What do I need to cancel? Deciliters down here, liters up here. According to this, you give a 1 to the prefix. So this is the prefix, 1. What does deci mean? Go look it up. Deci means 10 to the minus 1. Good. Okay? Cancel, cancel. Good. Now we've got prefix to base. Now we can go base to prefix. So our second conversion factor, if I have liters here, I put liters down here because, again, it's all about canceling. That's what dimensional analysis allows you to do. It allows you to take a unit and convert it to another unit. You will be using it in a lot of the careers that are out there. I mean, dimensional analysis, I use it all the time when I'm trying to convert things. So it's a really, really, really good tool. And for those of you moving on into higher level chemistries, it's a fantastic thing to retain and use in your other classes. Okay. I want to end up with nanoliters because that's what they want. Who gets the 1? Who gets the 1? The prefix gets the 1. Which one is the prefix? Nanoliters or liters? Nano. Put a 1. What does nano mean? Look it up. 10 to the minus 9. Okay? The liters will cancel. So we already canceled the deciliters. Now the liters will cancel. It's set up perfectly. To make your life easier, remember how I said if you see an exponent in the denominator, sometimes just bring it up to the numerator and change the sign. So if this is 10 to the minus 9 here, up it becomes 10 to the positive 9. Positive 9 and minus 1 becomes positive 8. So it's 9 minus 1 is 8. So then you end up with 5.62 times 10 to the positive 8 nanoliters. And that's how you do metric conversion using this technique. All right, I think we have done enough of the dimensional analysis and conversions. I think we are ready to move on to the last two topics, which are density and temperature conversions. Okay.